there, lovelies on Facebook, and hello there, lovelies on Instagram. I'm Donna Hoffman. They call me the Interior Design Advocate, and I've also been called one of the leading coaches in the nation because I have helped thousands and thousands of women to live with more joy and beauty and balance in your life by creating a particular beauty in your home across any design style. Doesn't matter what your design style is, but we teach you how to turn your results around and create homes that feel amazing to live in. And we do that through our online courses that we love to teach. So what I love to tell you right now is I'm happy to be here with you. We're here every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern. Yep. We stop what we're doing here in our luxury design studio. We have a studio here in the Philadelphia region of the United States. And we put a pin in it so that we can come out here, talk to you, teach you a lesson on something that we hear you asking about, we see you struggling with, and then we have a conversation with you and we talk about that topic. So what is today's topic? Today's topic is a biggie, and I'm getting hellos and waves, so good to see everybody. Today's topic is a biggie, and it has to do with design trends, and boy, do I see fear get into the hearts of brilliant women when it comes to design trends because, well, rather than my telling you why I see you guys getting nervous, in a little while I'm going to ask you to write to me in the comments section, Instagram or Facebook, and tell me what is your big fear when it comes to design trends, or what's your big concern, or what's your big confusion when it comes to design trends. And for now, while I'm waiting for you guys to do that, and I'll put a call out for that again in a sec, let's talk about design trends. Where do they come from? Well, I'm going to tell you where they don't come from. And how do you know when they're going to drop dead or kick the bucket? We're going to look at all that. So I'll tell you where design trends don't come from. They don't start at Home Goods. Heaven bless Home Goods and Home Sense. They're great to run into and pick up some inspiration, some quick accessories. But by the time you see something trickle into a Home Goods or a Home Depot, or some of your more value-priced resources, that trend is not starting. That trend has been following the path and becoming more and more saturated. So where do design trends start? Some of you think they just start in New York. Well, if they can start in New York, they can start in various cities. And this has been so for centuries. Trends tend to start in cities and then they ripple out to the suburbs or the provinces. Now, here's the thing. It's not just about cities in the US. It can be cities, major cities in Europe as well. Paris and London being really important on the map as well. Berlin as well. So and also Madrid. So New York, LA, Chicago, Dallas. What happens in these big cities? Well, these are cities that get attention from the world in terms of hotels and travel. So how do these, or trade shows or design show houses, that is where design trend seeds are planted. So for example, let's say that the editor or a journalist from one of the major trade magazines is at the Maison and Objet show in Paris in September or January, and she or he sees an interesting color that keeps coming up that designers are playing with at that upper end. Aha, a trend seed may be planted. Or the Heimtech show in Germany. It's a big fabric show that happens annually. I think twice a year, actually. That's where fabric designers are heading, as well as designers and furniture designers. And they're looking for thematics. Oh, I'm seeing this color pop up. I'm seeing that color. I'm seeing this pattern pop up. So it's those possible spotting of seeds that are happening. It can also be that a great designer like, I don't know, Vicente Wolf or Kelly Wearstler, they do a hotel in London, and a journalist or editor sees what they've done and says, oh my gosh, look at what they did with black and white. How cool is that? And they publish it in a magazine, and then more and more people see it. And then more and more people start to ask interior designers, I want that thing that I saw in that magazine. And before you know it, at the higher end, designers are being asked to push into some of these trend notes. Or at the higher end, we designers are saying, you know what? I'm sick and tired of I'm making this up, the color I don't know, millennial pink. I'm going to do something really cool in fuchsia. And then a magazine editor sees it and says, oh my gosh, I love it. Or it's out on Pinterest and it gets a lot of pinning. Or it's on House and it gets a lot of pinning into House idea books. So trends can start in a variety of places, but largely it's show houses, it's design shows, it's high-end designers putting our work out into the public sector. And then you guys, the design enthusiasts, saying, I like it, I'm pinning it, I'm grabbing it, I'm pinning it. And then manufacturers of fabrics and manufacturers of wallpaper are watching, and so are manufacturers of furniture, and they're saying, ooh, Pinterest is reporting that the most commonly pinned color right now is coral. Or House is reporting that black and white interiors are getting grabbed a lot. So those manufacturers, they don't want to put non-trending colors into their line. They will show to designers like me and customers like you what they believe will sell. Katie and I had a meeting earlier today with a fabric rep, and I saw that damask fabrics were coming out more and more. And I said, you're kidding. I said, are damasks really coming back? She said, that's our prediction. And I said, what else? And she said, the color coral, it's back out. And sure enough, a lot of what she's showing me came in a number of colorways, and coral was there too, a color we haven't seen a lot. Now, will the consumers hop on that? I don't know. You tell me. So the way design trends start, it's an idea, it's a seed, and it catches fire, right? Starts to get traction. And the more traction it gets, because you're seeing it in magazines at the high end, and you're seeing it on Pinterest, and you're seeing it in House. And then there's a price drop, and now it's available at more retailers, maybe high-end manufacturers, and then high-end retailers, and then there's a price drop, and you start to see these price drops come in, so that it becomes more available at the mainstream. And the more and more it price drops, and the more available it is at mainstream, you know, that trend is getting a lot of traction, and it's out there, and everybody has a, I don't know, an arabesque pattern in their tile and in their wall covering and in their, I don't know, their fabric and in their rug. I don't think I'm doing an arabesque, because I have a feeling that's going to pop soon. So how do you know when a design trend is starting to tire? When you're seeing it everywhere. That's how you know. Now, here's the good news, so you don't have to cry into your Pinot Grigio tonight. So when I hear, you know, a really interesting design thought leader or blogger that I like pronounce, gray is dead, I think, oh, come on. Gray is a neutral color, like black, like cream, like tan, like sand. Come on, like brown. It's not dead, but the way it's being used, that could change. So it's not the color that dies a long or slow death. It is the use of it, right? It's the way it's being applied. So when people will say to me, students will say, hey, you know, I heard gray is you know, going out. You have to know that design trends don't just start and stop. They develop, and then they flatline, then they develop, then they morph, and then they develop some more. So I'll tell you, in this fabric meeting where we were seeing the newest and latest and greatest from this really beautiful fabric house, there was definitely gray. Gray was there, but it wasn't the new thing, and it wasn't the only thing. There was still a ton of blue, a lot of navy, a lot of that sandy, that gray down blue, sweeter blues, like that start to morph into teals, still out there, right? So it's not that you see a single trend suddenly stop, as if somebody woke up one day and said, the white kitchen will be no more. What you'll start to see is the white kitchen will start to change. And some of you might have noticed that instead of white kitchens with subway tile in a straight lay, you're starting to see some designers are experimenting, because clients are saying, I don't want another white kitchen. I want something a little different. So designers are experimenting with black grout in white, subway tile, or the subway tiles being installed, north south. And you started to see subway tile being installed, in a chevron pattern. So you'll start to see that it will start to morph. That it won't just, somebody turned a switch and it's off. And I've used this example before. I guarantee that a brilliant mind like a Juan Montoya or, the Albert Hadley, leaders of the world never said, I can't use gray because it's going out. Those guys, they use color and neutrals in a sexy way, where they want it, how they want it. And their delivery is so impeccable, you don't smell a trend on these men, okay? And women, the great women of designers as well. So I don't want you to be so worried about what to do with the color gray. But again, it's the way it's being applied. That's where it's changing. And gray head to toe on your upholstery and on your wall and on all your pillows and on your rug. Yeah, that's kind of starting to show itself, and that's starting to move into something else. I hope this makes sense, what I'm sharing with you. Maybe you're getting hearts and things, so I'm assuming it does. And if you're just joining me, I'd love for you to tell me in the comment section, what's your big fear with trends? What's your big, knee-knocking moment with design trends? Or what's your big confusion with design trends? And the other thing I want to tell you in terms of where trends start before I start to look at your comments. Sorry, itchy nose. Today's world, I think, is also being affected by our phones and by Instagram and by influencers. The whole shiplap thing, that did not start in a city, and that did not start in a show house. That started by Joanna Gaines, a popular TV personality, super talented woman. She has a look, she has a following, and now everybody wants shiplap. Is that going to at some point look like a trend? Yeah, at some point it will look like a trend. But for now, if you love it, do it. If you got the deep pockets to undo it, when you feel like undoing it, undo it. Or say, hey, I like it, and I don't care if it stops trending. I still like it, and I'm going to live with it and be happy with it, okay? So I think that influencers, TV shows can also affect what we start to see, and we become influenced by those trends. We start to become attracted to these things that we're being exposed to. And if you want to give yourself a quick trend exercise, next time you're sitting at the hairdresser or the dentist and you're flipping through a catalog or a magazine, maybe a catalog you brought with you, or a magazine that they had on their table, just start asking yourself, what am I seeing over and over? What shapes am I seeing in upholstery over and over? You'll see a current trend. What colors am I seeing over and over? You'll see a current trend. Okay, so it's not the mystery science that some design lovers think it is or fear it is. So I want to see what you guys are saying in terms of what is your big fear. Oh, I can't even see out of these things. These are dirty. Oh man, I don't know where my thing is. Hang on, got the thing. Using the thing to, the cloth. I'm sorry, I'm brain dead. I had a really rough start to my morning, so I think that kind of drained all the power out of my brain. Okay, getting a lot of hellos. Fun topic from Shirley. Thank you, Shirley. Joan is saying her fear is that by the time I get on board with the trend, it's just about over. My home is always outdated. Joan, do what you love. Design to your design fingerprint, which is something we teach at the Interior Design Advocate in my courses, and you will have a staying power and a home that you love living in for a long time. That I promise you. I'm getting hellos from Austin, Texas. I'm getting hey there's from, I don't know where. Chicalian is from. Joan is in Austin. Sherry is saying hello from Flower Branch. Thanks for sharing your wisdom with us. You are welcome. Flowery Branch, Georgia. Oh, I think I need some of that in my life. That sounds like a happy place. I love that. Jamie saying hi, Donna. Can only pop in for a minute saying hello. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Jamie. Okay. Barbara is saying that to her, gray is the color of a prison cell. She likes green. Okay. To each their own. Joan is saying, I'm looking at a new home magazine and coral is everywhere. Good woman, Joan. Good detective work. Very good. Okay, let's see. What are people afraid of? What about granite in the kitchen and bathroom countertops? Okay, so here's the story. Jerry wants to know about granite in the kitchen and countertops. We'll come back to that. Jennifer McCann is saying, I'm not trendy. I only purchase 1 or 2 accessories related to the trend so I can easily change them as needed. Jennifer, brilliant woman. one of my straight A students. I love that you're thinking that way. Good. That's what I advise as well. Shirley is saying that she agrees with Jennifer. Okay. Mona is saying she needs classic ideas, not trends. What's a good alternative to gray other than white? We'll look at that. So what's a good alternative to gray other than white is one question we want to come back to. And also granite. We want to come back to that. Okay. Michelle is saying she had 2 walls shiplapped. It was very expensive. I hope it doesn't look dated too soon. I hear ya. Karen says, I get afraid of going too trendy because of the continual cost of maintaining current trends. Right. You can't change out your kitchen the way you change out, a shirt. So I get it. I love what Jennifer said, try to put your trends on accessories. That's what we teach, or lower cost furnishings so you can, switch them out. But when you're doing a kitchen, it's pretty hard to call that trend. So we'll talk about that. More hellos from Missouri and Ohio. I love it, girls. Hello, my lovelies. So glad you're with me from all over the country. What is the trend for painting cabinets? Jamie, white's still really trending. It is. And gray into a grayish is still trending as well. And I do think that it's always great if you have a center island, if you can throw a color on that island instead of just, I don't know why my nose is so itchy all of a sudden. Instead of just throwing white everywhere, if you want to stain that center island or do a cool color on that island, a really rich blue or wonderful jade green, do something that is not part of a trend, that's part of you. I think that's the way to do it. And I think those kinds of things have staying power. And black and white, always very trendy. So to go back to the question, what's an alternative to white painted cabinets instead of grays? Black with a nice little glazy something, gloss to it. And then on your island, or if you have a bump out somewhere, then you can do white as an accent. So black and white really, showing a lot of steam as well. Other questions. Okay, Joan's reporting still. Joan's reading her magazine and listening to this Facebook Live. Joan is brilliant. She's multitasking. She's saying coral with gray. So she's seeing in the magazines. Gorgeous combo. Hello. Barbara is saying she doesn't care for trends. Guess what, Barbara? A lot of women say that to me, but you are affected by trends whether you like it or not, because you have to purchase what's out there at retail right now when you're searching. When you're working with a designer, we have very deep resources, so we can find things that are super off-trend, meaning a color that people aren't working with. So we're not limited in the same way that consumers are. But you are affected by all of that because the buyers in catalog, the buyers in stores are putting merchandise into their offerings that they think you guys are going to want. Okay, so, all righty. So, okay, so Claire's telling me that she's working on something now. She's rearranging her living room, new drapes. Everyone's going to ask me if I have an interior design, if I had an interior designer did it. I'm using coral as my accent color. My decor is coastal. I will forward before and after pictures. Claire, that sounds really exciting. Don't forward before and after pictures to me here. If you're one of my private Facebook groups, we have the bandwidth to take care and look at it. I don't have the bandwidth to look at all of the gorgeous things that you guys are doing on our public page. There are just hundreds of them, no, tens of thousands of you guys. I think we're at like 50,000 or something, and one of me. And my little team too. We're tiny but mighty. So if you're one of my students, Claire, I look forward to seeing what you're working on. And if you're not, I send you a hug and a kiss, and I'm so happy you're having a good time with it. Okay, so let's go back to some of the questions. So you guys are afraid, it seems, of putting a trend out, doing something in your home that's going to make your home look dated, too soon. Trends in design move a lot more slowly than fashion. Fashion changes year to year, season to season. Jeans are wide, then they're short. It's a high waist, it's a low waist. It's have your hiney show, hide your hiney. It's just, very fast. That's not how it works in interior design. It's a much, like I said earlier, if you're just joining us, it's a much slower wheel. And design trends don't just stop in a season. They start to slow down, they start to morph and turn into something else, and then they start to move again. And I don't think I said this yet, there are multiple trends happening at the same time. Look at all the design trends that are happening. You got farmhouse, you have farmhouse glam. You've got rustic, you've got rustic glam. You've got transitional, you've got traditional, you've got modern. You've got, what have I left out? You've got glam. you've got boho, you've got maximalism starting to show a little bit of life as well. There are multiple trends that are happening. Modern always seems to be here and on the move. Traditional isn't going away. It's just not the new thing that people are focusing on, right? And transitional seems to be the greatest catch-all that everybody, is falling to. So take heart with trends, multiple trends developing at the same time, and trends don't just start and stop. They gain momentum and start to morph and move. So let's talk about the whole granite thing. There was a time when doing granite in your kitchen was the luxury experience. It was the most expensive thing to do, which is why the rich and famous did it, and the plebeians, like the rest of us, weren't doing it. And then wonderful cutting methods developed in Italy and also Brazil and also China. And so this stone became more accessible to everyone. The pricing came down. And then eventually marble and the quartzites, right? The quartzes and the quartz composites became the thing. We just finished a couple of really beautiful high-end residences, and the clients didn't want quartzite. They wanted some movement in their countertops. So there were beautiful granites with large repeats that almost look like the sunsets, right? The builder grade granites with that speckled look still out there. And I say builder grade, I shouldn't say it that way. There are some people, when I teach about the design fingerprint, which is who you are underneath your design style, the design fingerprint that you have, you might be sensitive to pattern. And a big repeat sweep of a sunset on your large kitchen island might be just too much for you. You might need that tight granite speckled look. That is it's still being shown. It's still out there. And depending upon who you are as a design fingerprint, what your budget is, that might be perfect for you. You may not be hey, I want marble that's going to patina. You may not be the woman who says, hey, I want something like super solid. I need more movement. So if you want granite, do granite. If you are selling your home in 5 years or less, I look at what the comps are showing in your area. I consider what the comps are showing in your area. Be cognizant of what buyers in your price point will expect. But if this is about you creating a kitchen that you're going to love and live in, or a bathroom you're going to love and live in, make sure you choose a material that will work for your aesthetic, but also the way you want to use it. Marble is a little fuss buckety, right? Doesn't really like having anything acid on it. Tomato product, wine, vinegar, got to really swipe that up pretty quick, likes to be sealed. It will chip and patina over time. That may not be your thing. So I'm not down on granite. We, at this residence in particular I'm thinking of, we did a mix of quartzites and granites in different rooms. And some of the granites that we did had beautiful big repeats, really sexy and cool looking, like at a bar. And then there are places where we just did a small repeat in a powder room or a guest bath, and we were good. So that's where I am on granite. And I would say maybe like 60-40 or 65-35, where the smaller percentages, the granites and the quartzites and the solid, the Caesar stones, that seems to be more where consumers are going right now, as I observe in trend, okay? But at the very high end, clients want onyx. They want things that are just different. They don't want to look like what everybody is seeing on their phone and the 9 square on Instagram or what's out there and just out being done over and over and over again. There was another really good question, Katie. One was granite. Do you remember what the other one was that I wanted to come back to that I thought was a really good teaching lesson? Good alternative to white cabinets. I think I answered that already. If you have other questions, you can feel free to pop those in. And while you're doing that, I want to tell you something really exciting. First of all, I want to let you know that we have this great Design Diva conference that's happening in September, and I'm going to float my own sign in there. This is a very cool 1.5-day design immersion, and it's going to be meaty with takeaway. We're talking about design trends on September the 28th and the 29th in Philadelphia, a day and a half at a luxury location in Philadelphia at the West End. We're going to be teaching some advanced design principle, but in a way that everybody, starting at the beginning, can use and go back home and do gorgeous things to just facelift a space, just to change up slightly a space. You'll be working with pictures of what you own. You can bring samples and things that you're working on in your space. We have a guest panel coming with guest designers. There will be project masterminding. We're working on, there's different workshops. One workshop is big mistakes people are making in layout of your rooms. I'll be teaching, one of the workshops I'm teaching is how to mix furniture styles and furniture colors and just style, really. For wood furniture as well as upholstery. Trying to think when bad design happens to good people, and common hacks to get out of it. Really fast-paced, exciting workshops. Day and a half, we're feeding you breakfast both days, lunch on day one. Day two, we end it before lunch. Snacks in the morning, snacks in the afternoon, day one, and on day two, substantial snack in the morning. And there'll probably be an impromptu cocktail meetup for people who want to do something like that. And I want to let you know that right now we have a special on ticket pricing. Reg price is $12.95 right now. Single ticket is $9.99 for a day and a half, and you can buy a second ticket for $150. That's it. So if you get together with a girlfriend or a gal pal or your daughter or your mom, and you each share that expense, it comes out to, like, I have to look at my notes, like $5 something a ticket, like $5.75 a ticket. That's crazy. Now I realize it's a big investment. So if you would like to talk to me to find out if there's meaty takeaway for you in this Design Diva conference, I want you to text me. And you can text me and my team at the number I'm going to give you, and just text the words conference phone call. And I'll call you and I'll spend 20 or 30 minutes talking to you about what you're looking to accomplish. And I'll tell you if I think the Design Diva conference is a great opportunity for you, great investment for you. And also tell you if I think, hey, this is probably not what you need right now. So if you'd like to talk to me about the Design Diva conference, you just need to text us at, write this down, 267-573-9779. I'll repeat that, 267-573-9779, and I can have Katie post that as well. 267-573-9779. So if you need some connection with me to say, hey, will I have takeaway? You know, I'm building a home, or I'm not building a home. I'm, renovating a bathroom, or hey, I'm trying to facelift a living room that's been driving me crazy for 3 years. We can help it with all of that at the Design Diva conference. But I want to be able to talk to you if you need a little bit of time from me, okay, to make that decision. Next week, while I'm waiting for final questions to come in, we're talking about a big topic, open concept, trouble spots. So I'll be teaching you about that. And if you look in the contents, the message thing that I wrote out, oh, I'm telling you, brain dead right now. If you look at whatever that message is I wrote to you on Facebook, sorry, Insta, there's a great piece of free content, great freebie you can write in and get or click in to get from me. And it's about trends. It's about window treatment trends. 3 to try, 3 to avoid. That's 3 design trends for window treatments to try, 3 to avoid. And the link is posted in the description for this Facebook Live. Okay, so I'm going to do a call for, oh my gosh, we are so out of time. Final questions, final 2 questions. Here we go. Is brass hardware current for a kitchen? We're seeing a very soft gold or a polished gold. It's not the same brass that you saw in the 1990s and early 2000s, but gold is definitely still a beautiful and happening thing. Lori, and let's see. Rebecca Warner, great question. She's from Alaska. Rebecca, here it's gorgeous up there. Rebecca wants to know, can we combine styles like traditional and coastal? Okay, answer, yes, but it depends. You need to look at the line. I don't mean the furniture lines, I mean, as in the manufacturer, I mean the lines of the furniture. And it's something, Rebecca, I am teaching at the Design Diva conference because I need pictures to show it to you, and I make it so simple and I make it make sense without giving you a 400-year recap of furniture design, so and design style. So the short answer is yes, you can, but it has to do with the silhouettes you're combining, the colors you're combining. So without seeing pictures, Rebecca, I can't bless it for you, but I'm not going to curse it either. I'm going to say it can be done, but there's a way to do it. Probably transitional with coastal would be easier to do. A little bit of modern with coastal would be easier to do, but you could totally do some traditional with coastal, not a problem. But again, it depends upon the shapes that you're putting into that furniture that you're combining, and the lines, the silhouettes that you're combining as well. All right, so didn't mean to put you off, kiddo, but I want to give you great and usable information, and I don't ever want to just tell you what I think you want to hear and then send you down a rabbit trail. Okay, lovelies, listen, I've got to leave. I got to go get my mop chopped, maybe a little color too, but I definitely need a haircut. So I am heading out. I got to get to this appointment. See you next week, 4 p.m. Eastern here for Open Concept Trouble Spots. Yes, trouble spots and open concept. I want to know what's troubling you about your open concept, as well as adjoining spaces where you're doing design and getting stuck with adjoining space issues. We'll be doing some teaching and some question answering as well. And that's it. So big hug to you out on Facebook, big hug to you out on Insta, and we'll see you next week, 4 p.m. and call me or have me call you if you want to talk about the Design Diva Conference. Okay, lovelies. See you next week. Big hug to you. Bye-bye.